Welcome to Discover Ramona, where we explore the people, places, and businesses that make it the best place to live. I'm your host, Valley, and I'm here with my co-host, Jan Ryan. Hi, Jan.
Hi, Valley.
Jan, okay, listing your home in Ramona. What do people need to know?
Well, if you were going to put your home on the market in Ramona today, the first thing a buyer would look at is the yard, hands down.
Yeah, when they pull up, it's the first thing they see, right?
Yep, and the
In the front
backyard.
yard and the backyard.
And the
Clean it
backyard.
up.
Outdoor living in San Diego. Yep.
All right, who do we have as a guest today?
The future of Ramona deserves a conversation. I have Joel Anderson, County Supervisor.
All right, bring him in.
Bring him in.
Joel Anderson, welcome back to the show. I love it when
It's
you're
a pleasure.
here. Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. So I know we have some really important topics to go over today, especially ahead of, things that we have coming up. We need to cover these topics and get the word out there. You can read the pamphlet, but do you understand it? So let's talk about a few things that you're advocating for right now. Mainly, let's talk about the treasurer's office.
Oh, absolutely. So nobody knows what the treasurer does because if they do their job correctly, no one pays attention. But it's one of the most important offices in San Diego County. There's just a handful of countywide offices: the county assessor, the sheriff, the DA, and the treasurer tax collector. And unfortunately, this last year, Dan McAllister, who had been there for over a decade, passed away. And the Board of Supervisors appointed a new treasurer tax collector. And sadly, it's become the DMV of county government.
Oh.
It's an absolute disaster. If you call the office, it'll take at least 2 hours before somebody picks up the call. If you sent them a check, most people like to have their checks cashed right away. It can take them up to, if not longer, than 8 weeks to cash a check. And if they owe you money, it's going to be a 9-month wait for them to return your money to you. So these are all simple, straightforward things that can be fixed, but we need to really put a focus on filling, what I like to call filling the potholes, doing your job. And yet, this is an ongoing problem. And the biggest concern I have is they collect $8 billion. $8 billion. So if you think that it's going to go 8 weeks to cash those checks, we're talking about millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of lost interest, adding to a cost driver for new taxes. And I don't think we need new taxes. I think we need to be effective, efficient, and accountable.
So getting that money into the system quicker would be better off for us so that they don't have to pull money from other places to cover while they're waiting to deposit these checks. They just can't process it fast enough.
All those millions of dollars we're not collecting any interest on. And, it's also very frustrating, right? So I, as an experiment, every day I've called his office and I've recorded it. And the best day was 11 people on hold. It's more closer to 19 to 23 people. That's the average. Sometimes it's 35. And if you think, if it's 3 minutes a call, 19 people is an hour. If it's 6 minutes, it's 2 hours. There's no 3-minute calls. These calls are all 6 to 10 minutes because you're working on a real estate thing and you're trying to figure out, what do I owe? Where's the mistake? You're not calling them random. You've got a real issue. But they have such a low level of customer service when this is how we collect $8 billion. You would think that phone time would be, yes, sir. Absolutely, we want to get you the information. Send us our check. Can we send somebody by to get the check? So these are cost drivers that they're saying that we need all these new taxes because we don't have enough revenue when we're letting it slip through our fingers because we're so inefficient and unaccountable.
What's the problem? Is it just lack of knowledge of how to run the systems, or is it low accountability?
Well, it's not my job, so I
What's your
have
opinion?
I have suspicions, but the first thing I'm going to do is sit down with every department and every employee. Look, you can't have over 20,000 employees without a couple bad eggs, right? But the vast majority of county employees are hardworking. They love their work and they want to do a good job. Can you imagine that every call you pick up, the person's waited a minimum of an hour? Do you think that's going to be a pleasant phone conversation? So you've got 8 hours of angry people saying, why don't you answer your phone? And then you're not processing their check. So they're calling and saying, hey, I sent you a check 8 weeks ago. Do I need to put a stop payment? How do I know that you have it and it hasn't been stolen? I mean, we know that at certain times of the year, mailboxes get raided, checks get stolen, because that's, criminals, they understand the system sometimes better than government. So you want to put a stop payment on it. And if you do put a stop payment, there's penalties and interest because your payment's late. And it's all from a failed system. And that's the other thing I'm going to change. Right now, when they assess you penalties, they get to keep them. It doesn't go to the general fund. So they're incentivizing going after you. And that's wrong. That's fundamentally wrong. And I'm not saying they're nefarious. I'm not saying they're doing it purposefully, but it certainly gives them encouragement not to process these checks quickly and then turn around. Now, I had a gentleman, and he doesn't want to be disclosed, but he sent him a check. They didn't cash it. They separated his envelope from his check. Then they weren't sure how to assess it, so they sent him a late fee. He went back to them. They said, oh, no, here's your envelope. You didn't send it in a timely fashion. It wasn't his envelope. They couldn't account for his envelope, so he took him to small claims court. They gave him a $7,000 fine. He won in court, but the problem is you can't collect against the county or any government entity without their permission. So he was out $7,000 because of their inefficiencies. Now, look, we have 3 million people in San Diego County. Let's say 10,000 people have an issue, which I think that number is more because I get complaints all the time. But that's an insignificant number to the 3 million. However, if that's you, you just got fined and you got taken, excuse the pun, downtown, and now they're going to say they're going to raise your taxes because they can't do their job. I'm the only candidate running that's running on a platform of reform. The other issue that I just find unnerving is they keep adding junk fees to your taxes.
And Joel, too, I want to ask you before I'm really concerned about the transfer tax for real estate with them talking about raising it. Is there
Brutal.
anything we can do about that?
So the appointed treasurer tax collector and I have been interviewed by different organizations, and when asked about that, he supports it. I do not. This tax, that transfer tax, is 6% on every real estate deal. That means if you're buying your first home, and let's say it's $500,000, that's a $30,000 tax keeping you from generational wealth that you could pass on to your family.
Or even for buying a home or selling a home.
Exactly. And I think that when people have skin in the game and they own property, one, the pride in ownership shows. Two, as inflation goes up, the real estate mirrors it. It's the only investment that's a hedge bet against inflation. And so it's really important that we help as many people as possible to get into their first home, just get into the system so that they have that generational wealth to pass on and they have wealth to build upon. So while they're going to say this tax punishes the rich because only rich people have houses, it should be the dream of every poor person to have a house, and it's my job to help them purchase it.
So it's 6% of the sales price as a transfer tax, and it goes to the county?
Yep, it's a big nothing burger. It's just a money grab.
Right now, it's not that much.
It's
$1.10. Most homes are $1 million in San Diego County. That's a $60,000 tax. That's like paying for 2 real estate brokers to sell your home because it doubles what they normally charge in a commission. But what if you're a commercial property? What if it's $10 million? Now you're talking about $600,000. I want more businesses, more jobs, more career opportunities, and this is taking us in the wrong direction by penalizing hardworking people, hardworking families who are trying to purchase their first home. And that home could be a condo, it could be a townhouse, it could be a single family residence, it could be a multitude of things. But when you have skin in the game by real estate ownership, you're providing a better future for your children.
But Joel, what can we do about it? I mean, to hear about it, it's...
Well, so Contrast when that's on the ballot, having a treasurer tax collector articulate what I've shared with you, and that's what I would do, and I've done it my entire career, or somebody saying, yes, I support this tax and I support all taxes. Now, I will tell you, um, uh, politicians lie, big surprise,
What?
and they tell
No
you what
way.
they want to hear. But here I am in front of the county employees, and they're saying, we want all the taxes in the world so we can have more raises. And then the appointed member said, I want you to have those raises and I'm going to support every tax. I said, I can't do that to the poor people in my district who deserve
Or anybody.
generational wealth. And as a result, who do you think got the endorsement? So, look, I think I think that people are fed up with politics as usual. They want their potholes filled. They want an effective, efficient, accountable government that cashes their check in a timely fashion, doesn't lose interest, and then use it as a cost driver to put an additional real estate tax on us that we cannot afford.
What I foresee if they were to pass this, the transfer tax, is home values going up because they do it in Dublin, in Alameda County, and a home that we have here for 850,000 is 1.3 million there, and it's the same simple single family, development home. I see that happening, and then commercial wise, if that were to be the case, there's going to be even more vacant commercial buildings than we already have.
It's just going to
So, so,
stop sales and business.
so let's talk about Prop 13.
Okay.
My colleagues on the board believe that Prop 13 has failed us because it's not generating new income. Prop 13 was designed to protect seniors from being taxed out of their home. You see, I bought my house for 100 grand. They build mansions next to me, and the mansions are $2 million each. The property value of my house then goes to 2 million, but that tax is greater than what I paid to buy the house, and I'm on a fixed income. So you're forcing me, and by the way, I paid for my sewer pipes, I paid for my water pipes. These people all added later. They say I'm not paying my fair share. I'm saying you're trying to make me homeless. Now, we stopped building new homes. We stopped making housing affordable. It used to be you start off as a young family, and then as you have kids, you buy a bigger house. And then as you retire, you move to a smaller house. Well, in my neighborhood, I can't move to a smaller house. There's nothing to be had. And when you add that 6%, that extra $60,000 tax on every home, all of a sudden, no one's going to build, no one's going to buy. It's going to stagnate Prop 13. When you buy and sell, you reset Prop 13 and the taxes go up. So our failed housing policies are at the demise of Prop 13. Prop 13 works fine. It's leadership that doesn't work so well. And this tax will further put us in the hole, and it's the wrong direction. So I want to make housing more available. I want people to be affordable. I know it doesn't sound affordable, but if you look at $400,000 to $700,000, that's considered workforce housing. If you're making 100 grand, you can afford it. But to think that here in San Diego County, you and your spouse could be making 100 grand each and still not be able to purchase your first home, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And another tax putting at $60,000 on that $1 million home, even further out of your reach, is the wrong direction. And as we do this, then government comes back to us and says, well, we need more taxes. So now we're going to increase the sales tax. We're going to increase this tax and that tax. How about this?
It's like feeding the beast.
Oh, Sam's because they don't have the vision and they don't understand. We need to put our constituents first. We need to give them a fast pass to get into their first home, to get invested in their community, to take pride and to grow. And if we did that, we wouldn't need as much taxes because we'd have a vibrant economy. And I just recently, the other issue that we're adding all these junk fees to our tax bill. Right now, if I'm on a fixed income and I live in a property and I don't pay my tax bill, they can foreclose and force me out of my house to get the taxes. But what if it's a trash bill, like in the city of San Diego, on my tax bill? Now we've given private companies, trash companies, the power of government to make somebody homeless to pay their trash fee.
Right. It's an interesting thought.
So right now, I mean, prior, if they had to bill me and I didn't pay it because I didn't have money, they would lien my home, and when I die, they would collect it from my assets. And that's good. I mean, I want them to get paid, but they should never have the power of government to foreclose on me and force me homeless. That's why Prop 13 was passed, to protect seniors, because when you have a market, as we did earlier, not recently, where homes are appreciating 16% a month, you're going to force people out of their homes with taxes. That's why Prop 13 was passed in 1978. And by the way, I'm very proud to have Howard Jarvis, the protectors of Prop 13. Howard Jarvis was one of the original authors, and their associations endorsed me for my strong stance on protecting taxpayers.
Yeah. So, okay, well, I had a lot of thoughts that were going on when you were talking about all of that. So I am concerned about the senior citizens and them being able to stay in their homes, because adding that transfer tax when they go to sell their home, it's like, who's going to pay it? Because it's just going to drive up the cost.
So listen, I agree with you. I'm a county supervisor. I'm very proud. I put on all my campaign signs, fix homelessness. I would have said something other than fix, but homelessness takes a lot of space. Last 3 years, I've lowered homelessness in my district by double digits. This year, I lowered it by 37%, the highest in the county. And the reason why that's important is one of the first things I did is I recognized the fastest growing population of homeless are seniors, 55 and older, with a spike at 65. So now we're going to create another driver for seniors to become homeless. That's wrong. That's the wrong direction. And that's the problem. The way the office, it's funny, I had constituents call me and say, what are you going to do about the DMV of county government? And I said, what are you talking about? They said, the Treasurer Taxpayer Office. It's a disaster. It's like the DMV. So, but when you look at allowing people to put stuff in their tax bills that are not taxes, these junk fees are going to crush us. All these things are leading us to a worse quality of life. I want to increase our quality of life.
Well, I can attest to that, because every time I do a refinance for somebody, I can see that their property taxes have increased a little bit. And a little bit maybe isn't too noticeable to that one person. But if you think about how many homes and how many homeowners are in San Diego County, how much money that pulls in if you're just adding $7 per household into the monthly tax bill times 12 months over,
adds up.
Well, under Prop 13, they can only increase your taxes by 2% a year. 2% a year is somewhat predictable.
Well, they certainly will do that too.
And look, they should. I mean, that's reasonable. But if you remove Prop 13, if you do the things that they're talking about doing, there's no limit. One day, your tax bill could be $1,000. The next year, it could be $10,000.
Yeah.
Nobody on a fixed income can endure that. The biggest challenge with senior homelessness is a lot of these folks retired in the 80s on 60 grand. That's like 100 grand now. They were living large. But now rent is 5 grand a month. That's their whole paycheck. Yeah. And what do they do for medicine? What do they do for food? This is what's forcing seniors into the streets. And now you add additional taxes and you don't process. We could save hundreds of millions of dollars in interest if we simply processed all the checks within 24 hours, not 8 weeks. And by the way, if you call the office, it will say, if you're calling about your check, don't put a stop payment. It takes us up to 8 weeks to process your check.
Just trying to get you off the phone.
That's $8 billion.
Yeah.
We're not talking about chump change. So, think of 1/6 of $8 billion. That's how much they're not processing in a timely fashion. And look, I was a finance major through my entire career. I've worked on these policies. I understand. I'm the only candidate that's a reform candidate wanting to fix the problems. All the other candidates in this race are only talking about how they're going to invest the money and what their credentials are. They have no clue how to run government. And that's the one thing I'm really good at.
I don't want someone telling me how they're going to spend our money. I don't want to know that. I don't want them to already be spending the money before they have it.
They get it.
How
they can save it.
Me money.
Exactly.
And make it more affordable. And that's my focus, to make sure it operates correctly, it's more affordable, and most importantly, we encourage as many people as possible to get into real estate with their first home so that they have the wealth to pass on to their children. And, there's far more people. And I worked for years as an elected with the Board of Realtors having first-time home buyer sessions. And what was most gratifying is we knocked on every apartment door in El Cajon, and we had just under 200 people show up. And the laws change, programs change, things happen all the time. And we had some great realtors doing the presentation, and 6 people left talking to a loan agent, qualified for a loan, and they were able to purchase in the next few months. They didn't even know they qualified.
Yeah.
And yet that knowledge was power. So, it's not the whole world, but for those 6 families, they have something that they own. They're not borrowing, they're not renting, they own. And those kids now will have a better future because their parents will have something to share with them when they pass.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I love it. I could talk to you about all these subjects and topics forever.
Well, you know what? I would enjoy it because the sweetest sound in my ear is my own voice. No, but I think I've talked your ear off. Look, these elections all have penalties. If people are just going to check boxes without thinking about it, if you think it's acceptable to have a trash fee or other junk fees on your tax bill and give private companies the power to evict you and sell your home in a foreclosure, I'm not your guy. If you want to pay higher taxes because we're so inefficient, I'm not your guy. But if you want more people to be able to afford getting into their first house, and that we are supporting a booming economy where everybody has a career path, then I'm your guy. That's what I've done my entire career, and that's what I intend to do. And nobody's talking about customer service but me, because I understand fundamentally at the end of the day, it's my job to make government work for you.
Yeah, I love it.
I know, I wish everyone thought that way. But
Yeah, correct. Thank you so much for being here and sharing and kind of shining a light on these important subjects. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks,
I
Joel.
appreciate
Thanks for
the
coming.
kind invitation. You'll have to come to my office one day.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will. We will. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching Discover Ramona, and we'll see you next time.